There are only two things in this world that I truly care about, and that is the internet and video games. And I guess also my wife, but really it's just internet and video games. Those two things have a history that's only a teeny bit longer than I am old, and therefore it matters more because I was actually there for it. Actual history? Boring. Who even knows when the Civil War happened? World War I was a fascinating moment in history. If it was so great, how come they never had a World War II? Huh? History nerds? In today's video, we're going to be taking a look at video games that are not only popular in my lifetime, but would become such hallmarks of their era that they would go on to alter the landscape of YouTube and the entirety of the internet forever. When I say Machinima, I'm sure most people think of the massive video game YouTube channel Machinima. This is a YouTube channel that grew to prominence in the early days of YouTube because it was one of the biggest channels that was partnered with YouTube and therefore could make money on the videos that it was posting. In that era, video game content creators on YouTube weren't able to partner with YouTube for whatever reason, and so many smaller content creators would find themselves making videos and then submitting them to Machinima, hoping that they would post it on their main channel and then give them a fraction of the money that that video would then go on to earn. This was widely considered a horrible time to be a content creator on YouTube because you would be making pennies on the dollar for the work that you put into your videos. But surprise, surprise, that's actually not what I'm talking about when I say Machinima. I don't mean the YouTube channel, I mean the word Machinima, which according to Wikipedia is a portmanteau of the words machine and cinema. It is the art of making a narrative-driven short film using computer-generated graphics, most commonly in-game video game engines to make videos. Wikipedia says that the art of using in-game video game models and engines in order to make some sort of film is documented as early as the early 90s, but for it to be used for anything other than just making speedruns was first seen in the Quake franchise in what would be called Quake movies, but wouldn't be adopted into being called Machinima until it spread outside of the franchise into examples such as Rooster Teeth's Red vs. Blue. Red vs. Blue is one of the longest running series on YouTube and the internet for that matter that would basically make a Machinima using Halo's Combat Evolved engine. They would basically just play the game and move the camera between characters who would sort of puppet themselves as if they were talking using in-game microphones and voice comms to be able to voice the characters and therefore make a little bit of digital puppetry, as Wikipedia calls it, to be able to do a sort of pseudo animation. Machinima, as it were. I first learned about Red vs. Blue, I think my sophomore year in high school. Shout out to Mr. Bowie, who decided to take the time in one of our classes to show us Red vs. Blue and talk about the legal ramifications that would come with somebody using somebody else's video game to make their own thing. But it would go on to show that Rooster Teeth, when reaching out to Halo's producers and saying, hey, we're making the show, this could be the end of the show if you guys say no, but what do you guys think of Red vs. Blue? And the Halo franchise said, we love this. We're totally cool with you using the IP to make these shows. Please continue to do so. Which in my opinion is a hallmark moment when it comes to Machinima, because honestly, if Red vs. Blue got canceled, it might have led other game publishers to decide that they don't want people to use their video games in this way, and then we might not have any of the other examples on this list. But instead, Bungie was cool with it, and Red vs. Blue would continue to make 300 plus episodes, movies, DVDs, and continue to flourish with their series that they started just goofing around with a couple in-game microphones. Cool stuff. I also want to mention a series called Bob vs. Steve, which was a Machinima that was created using Splinter Cell that aired on X-Play, a video game TV show that was on G4 TV syndicated television, making Machinimas.
When America needs a hero. When freedom stands alone. When justice needs to be upheld, there's only one place to turn. Let us join Special Agent Bob and Secret Agent Steve, two of the finest official unofficial Splinter Cells.
Between Red vs. Blue getting the okay from Halo to continue to make their series and then going on to be the second longest running internet series after Homestar Runner until they got canceled, and with Bob vs. Steve being on syndicated television produced by an actual TV studio, Machinima was really paving the way for video games to be more than just something that you play, but instead something that you watch and not just watch someone play. I think we can take a look at modern examples of people taking pieces of media and making it their own, whether it be animated music videos of people taking animes and synchronizing it to their favorite songs, or things like Yu-Gi-Oh! The Abridged series taking an already existing piece of media and sort of retelling the story with their own goofy voices and jokes, or even things like YouTube Poops that take already existing media and mix it up to give it their own twisted sense of internet humor. All of these things, while maybe not directly inspired by the early days of Machinima, definitely evoke the same vibe of taking a piece of media that you love and then turning it into something new that can be enjoyed again. And in some part, maybe even just a little bit, I feel like they all gotta pay just the tiniest bit of homage to Red vs. Blue.
So we back in the mine, got our pickaxe swinging from side to side.
It's difficult to try to encompass just how big of an impact Minecraft has had on the internet. With Minecraft being one of the most successful games of all time by most metrics, it's also one of the most watched franchises on YouTube, on the internet, whether that be through modified playthroughs, speedruns, challenges, or just watching somebody else play the game. I remember back in the day watching like 9-hour-long playthroughs of somebody just mining and building houses because it was that entertaining to 15-year-old me. One of the first videos I have public on my channel is a tutorial of how to find diamonds in Minecraft from like 8 years ago because that's all I knew how to do. I'm sure you know plenty of YouTubers who use the Minecraft eating sound effect anytime they take a bite out of something. The hiss of a creeper just before exploding, if you hear it, probably still raises the hair on the back of your neck. But in the early days of Minecraft, it wasn't exactly the most known video game franchise in the world, not 10-15 years ago. In my opinion, what catapulted Minecraft into a tremendous amount of success on YouTube was the YouTube series, the Machinima, Shadow of Israfel, by the Yogscast. Shadow of Israfel, to my knowledge, started as what seemed like just a normal playthrough, but instead would find Simon and Lewis exploring what we thought was just a normally generated Minecraft world, but was in fact a pre-made, predetermined little bit of story that Simon and Lewis would pretend to not have any clue about what was going on, and then go on to explore the mystery of, wait, what's that? What is happening in my Minecraft world? When I was watching this for the first time, I thought this was all just normal stuff that happened in Minecraft, and I just hadn't found it yet. The Yogscast would proceed to become one of the most popular YouTube channels of its era, producing tremendously more episodes of Shadow of Israfel, which people would hop into and find Simon and Lewis both playing the game, bouncing their delicious, dry British humor off of each other, while exploring this story that had predetermined worlds, that had great architecture, and a whole lot of mystery that made you wonder what is going to happen next in this, what felt like a TV show. Minecraft would continue to see a tremendous amount of success on YouTube and the internet because it was such a blank canvas for creativity in a platform that was filled with people that are nothing but creatives. Yogscast would continue to do Shadow of Israfel, telling their little narrative-driven story, as well as playing through adventure maps and challenge maps, showing off other content creators' massive, beautiful architecture that would have them going through puzzles and adventures. Captain Sparkles would see a tremendous amount of success both in doing these challenge maps and also making music videos parodying popular songs using Minecraft graphics. Dream, one of the biggest YouTubers of even the modern era, would find a tremendous amount of success doing manhunt videos and speedrun videos where he would show off the absolute precision that can be implemented when you really know how to play the game and beat it in like 20 minutes. And PewDiePie would find himself bringing the game back to light with tens upon hundreds of millions of views when he decided to pick up and just randomly start playing Minecraft several years ago and even a couple of days ago. How did Minecraft change the internet forever? It didn't really. Mostly it's a catalyst for creative people to be creative, as we've seen over the years. What started as something that people were exploring and checking out how cool is it that this entire world is generated, to becoming challenge runs of people playing the game for 1,000 days straight. All of your favorite VTubers and even content creators probably played on somebody's SMP. That is how you know most of your content creators that have grown to massive success has been through Minecraft. There are few content creators that I can even think of off the top of my head that didn't at one point make a video on their channel from a decade ago playing Minecraft. It's in your blood. There are few video games that I can say have irreversibly altered my vocabulary as much as Among Us. I can't even say it normally because of all the memes. Among Us would launch in 2018, but would rise to prominence in 2020 when many streamers would start playing it in order to be able to have an excuse to be able to talk to and hang out with their other online friends in a video game that encouraged your ability to be able to communicate with people and be able to be a little bit of a sneaky fox in murdering them. COVID had everybody indoors, the game was like $3, and it became this perfect mishmash of a game that needed you to have friends to play with in a time where everybody was looking for something to do. The simplistic art style of Among Us, of all the characters, made it very easy for the artistic Among Us to to be able to make their own fan art versions. I'm sure you know all of the people's emotes and changing people's faces to become the crewmates, and even the words sus and crewmates and imposters and all of this have become a part of internet history. There are people who haven't even played Among Us who use the word sus without realizing that it's because of the brain rot of how influential this game was on the internet back in 2020. Among Us didn't change the internet because it was popular. Fortnite was popular. Elden Ring was popular. Not only would you see streamers inviting other streamers into lobbies to be able to get 10 people with powerhouse subscriber bases coming together to all watch them play, but they would all watch each other play. People would have 8 tabs open to be able to keep track of who was doing what to figure out if the imposter was gonna get away with it or if they would get voted off. It made for drama and comedy and interactions between personalities that you wouldn't normally see on the internet, growing everybody's fan base to the point where Twitch saw some of its all-time highest viewership, obviously due in part to everybody being home for COVID, but also because everybody was watching Among Us. AOC, in all of her political busyness, would find time to go and play Among Us with popular streamers because that's how she felt she could reach out to the youth population, because the only thing anybody was talking about was Among Us. I can't even see a vent in real life anymore without losing my mind. Obviously, the list of what I think are hallmark moments in internet history to come from gaming is a subjective list, but that's the beauty of it. It's different for everybody, and I'm excited to see what you guys consider to be the biggest gaming moments that altered the internet for you down in the comments. I'll be reading everybody's responses. If you want to, remember to hit the like button if you enjoyed this video, and click subscribe if you want to catch my videos coming out every single day. Big thank you to the patrons scrolling in the back for supporting the show, and I'll catch you guys in tomorrow's video. Peace.